When do you use your RV inverter? Inverter with an I, not converter with a C. Your inverter converts 12 volt DC to 120 volts AC. So in other words, it takes the stored energy in your batteries, steps it up to 120 volts AC, so things like your TVs, residential refrigerators, and other things that plug into outlets will work, even if you're not plugged into shore power or have a generator running. So the only time you would really use an inverter would be if you have no shore power, no generator power available, and you have a decent sized battery bank in order to operate those things for a decent period of time. Now there are some small exceptions. Some modern RVs have the refrigerator automatically tied to an inverter, so the inverter is kind of always running to power the refrigerator, and that's so you could use the refrigerator while you're traveling down the road. Now, it's a common misconception that the inverter is like charging the batteries, or that it has anything to do with solar. Now, though it's part of most solar systems, the inverter does not play a crucial part in having a solar system. Your solar panels are charging your batteries via the sun, and then if you need one, an inverter is being powered by said batteries. So in other words, if you were camping where there was a good amount of sun, the solar panels would be charging the batteries, which are then using the inverter to power appliances throughout the day. And then in the evening when the sun goes away, the battery takes over, and that is what's powering the inverter by itself. Another common misconception is that inverter setups are very expensive. That's not necessarily true depending on what you need it for. Now, if you just want to have a single or two outlets available, if you were off grid for any reason, you can do a cheap inverter mounted up in the front compartment near the batteries and not actually tied into the RV. But if you want to have a lot of things work in the RV or tie everything into it, then yes, that's an expensive setup. You'll need transfer switches or an inverter with a built-in transfer switch, and it'll all need to be wired in. But to answer your question in short, when is it appropriate to use an inverter? Again, it's really only when you don't have generator, shore power, to power things like TVs or residential refrigerators or any of the outlets in your RV.